Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. This is Psychic Medium Raymond Guzman, and today I'm going to be doing a reading that many of you have asked, and that's about the Zodiac Killer. And I'm going to be giving you my psychic impressions, exactly what I feel about this person, who he was or is, and everything else that comes through. Before I do that, I'm just going to ask for the white light of God and his angels to surround and protect me, because this is a very, very dark reading, and so viewer discretion is advised, like I said on the Lizzie Borden case psychic reading that I did. If you feel like you're an empath or a sensitive, you may not want to listen to this. But the first thing that I'm getting from Spirit, and they're just shouting it to me, is that he killed more than what he has done. He committed more murders than the ones that were accounted for by the police department or the FBI. So this person has actually killed close to maybe 70 or 80 people. During these murders that he did, it was for the notoriety. I feel like he wanted to be the celebrity of that time. The person that I'm getting has origins from Europe. He is European, from a European bloodline. I don't know if he had some Jewish in him, but I am picking up some Jewish, some German, and some English ancestry. And so I feel like at the time of these murders, he had connections still to another country. I'm getting somebody that went through some type of military training, that knew how to use weapons, how to target people. He worked in law enforcement at one time, or he had military training. But I definitely get that there was some kind of background with this. There was something also about having an obsession with butchers and butcher shops. I don't know what that is. That's so weird as it's coming through. His mind, it's just yuck. It's like everything was like a satiating craving for blood. Like, I feel like murders was like I hate to say this, like an orgasm to him. Like, he got some kind of sick sexual high out of killing people. Now, I feel like he killed, from what Spirit is telling me, he killed a lot of the people that, like, the people, his victims, the majority of them were young adults. And I feel like this was a time in his life that he was like he didn't feel worthy. It was a difficult period. He definitely had a rough childhood. I feel like he was considered what we would consider like a bastard child. I don't feel like he would have known his father. I feel like he hated his mother completely. And I feel like he was always like teased about that. So he had some type of, and I'm speaking about past tense, because I don't feel like the Zodiac Killer is alive at this time. There's been people that have compared him to, there's been people that have said that they know who the Zodiac Killer was. It's like their grandfather, etc. Some people out of Louisiana or New Orleans, origin. But I don't feel like that is those were the Zodiac Killers. I feel like the Zodiac Killer actually, after committing all these murders, left the U.S. and resided in Europe, where they ended up passing. Okay, so again, other people may not agree with this, but this is what I'm getting. I feel like he was originally from Europe, came to the USA with his family, and I feel like for whatever reason, came with his mother and whoever she was with, but for whatever reason, I get that he left the country. So this is part of the reason they never caught him. And I feel like he's committed murders in other countries as well, not just because I keep seeing like a passport. I keep getting visions of a passport. I keep getting, well, I don't even know if they use passports out there, but when Spirit is showing me this, it's very possible that he did travel out of the country. Because I don't know when passports started becoming that, required to travel. I don't know, but a spirit is showing me traveling basically by airplane. And so I feel like he killed people in Mexico. He would have killed people in Europe, specifically London was a good target area. He stalked some university campuses. Again, an obsession for the youth to take them out. And he had like specific types of people that he looked for. I feel like, again, delusions. This person was very sick from the head, very mental, and again, very dark. I feel like he did have like some dark entity attached to him as well. Well, I should say several entities. So I feel like they kind of played mind games with him. I'm getting that he would have passed from like a stroke, a heart attack, something with the cardiovascular affecting one side of his body. And I get that he would have passed when he was in his 60s. Okay, so what I'm seeing is at the time of the murders, he would have been in his 40s, somewhere mid 40s, like maybe 40, between 40 and 45 years old. That's what spirit is showing me. And I feel like he would have passed about 20 years thereafter, but still committing murders. And so there's a lot of murders that have been unaccounted for, and it would tie back to the Zodiac killer. He kept changing his style. What spirit is showing me and telling me is that he kept changing his murder style. And this is getting very dark, and so it's just gross. I'm gonna have to definitely sage after this. But he changed, like a lot of them. He would leave like cryptic, I don't know what you call that stuff, like cryptic signs, like a symbol, so that people could decrypt it, or uncrypt it, or whatever you call that. Crack the code, quote unquote, of it to lead to his identity. But I feel like the reason they didn't find this man was because, again, he was not here in the USA after the murders, but he went on killing other people. Very rigid, very solitary. I don't feel like he was ever married or had kids at all. Just not that type of person. More of a loner. Very smart, very intelligent, even though he was very demented. I know that you're probably listening to this and thinking, well, how can he be smart if he killed people, But again, psychopaths, a lot of times, are very intelligent and they have a high level of IQ. Could he have been a little intuitive? Definitely. And I feel like this image, I only put it up here because this is what I think this is the image that I found of some people describing what he looked like, but I feel like it's totally wrong. Like they got the image totally wrong. That's another reason why they were never able to find him. As far as I know, the case has been reopened. I don't know if they're going to close it again. They're trying to do new DNA evidence match. I'm being told they won't find him because, again, I feel like if they did, they would have to look at European records as well, European blood matches, and I don't know if that's something that they have even contemplated or have done. But I just feel like he was very methodical. It was just very calculated, every single murder that he did. And there was something about having his shoes polished, always dressing up very spiffy. I feel like he wore sunglasses. I don't feel like he actually wore prescribed glasses like they are depicting here, unless these were readers that he would wear. But again, I feel like whoever did this sketch, whoever said they saw him, they got it wrong. Like, this is not how he looks like. That's not how I'm seeing it, at least. He would have had dark hair, not light colored. And he would have had blue eyes, not dark eyes. And on this description, the way that they have him is almost with a square jaw. But I feel like it was more angular as well, more of a round shape. Kind of a more rounder face. And he definitely gained a lot of weight before passing. That's how Spirit is presenting snippets of him. I don't see him that clearly, like towards the passing, but he definitely doesn't look like this picture at all. So again, that's what I'm getting. I also feel like he would have written memos or left things buried in the ground to be found later on somewhere around the world. I don't know where it feels like it is in Europe. Like I keep seeing Europe for whatever reason. Somebody will uncover some letters, etc. In the next 50 years, there will be some more evidence that is discovered, like letters and things, documents that are buried in the grounds, possibly like in a box or a container that's rusty by now. But I don't feel like he is alive. I really don't. And I feel like he would have passed in the late 1990s, quite possibly, like 96, 97, he would have passed. And again, I don't know, like it could have been sooner. I'm not good with math or the numbers like that, but again, and he would have been in his 40s, so maybe it's in the 80s. It's either the 80s or the 90s is what I'm being told, but I feel like it would have been closer to the 1990, 91, sometime somewhere in the 90s he passed away. I'm pretty sure from what Spirit is saying, and that's the psychic impressions that I'm getting, as they're coming through. So this may be like all over the place, and I apologize. It's not like, eye description, like what he was thinking. What he was thinking during these murders was basically they were carried out because it's like in a warped way with whatever he had attached to him spiritually, and where his mind was, like it was satisfaction for him. Like I feel like he would see visions of the people that teased him or bullied him, which would have been boys and girls, or I call them boys and girls, but would have been people his age at that time when he was going through all of this. I do feel like he did love somebody, and possibly like this is why he killed a lot of people. I feel like the girl that he loved rejected him in some way and chose somebody else. So even though he wasn't like he wasn't married or had kids, I feel like there was a moment in his life that he would have fallen in love, but again, it would have been unreciprocated. And I don't feel like he killed that lady, but there is a woman that knows the killer. And again, I feel like she would have been in America, even though he came from Europe. It's so weird. There is something about her being in California. So she would have met him early on. Like, I don't know at what age, but like that his family came to the U.S., but I feel like he did grow up here in the U.S., but he has still had connections and people that were known. So it's possible, like he would have traveled back or had communication with Europe, but I see him leaving to Europe and then traveling to other countries, carrying out these atrocities, and never would have been caught because, again, he had some kind of military or police background, and it's just so sick. But he did not procreate, thank God. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but like, can you imagine having, he would have had a child and that child turned out like him? That is something scary. Now, what is more scarier, I'm being told by Spirit, is that there is the FBI and the police are looking into this because there would be someone that, I don't know, like another killer, because I don't follow these type of cases at all. I don't even watch the movies, so I'm not going off of anything that I've seen, because I haven't seen anything on TV. I've heard about the Zodiac killer, but that's all I know. But what was I saying? Oh, I was saying that I feel like there is somebody that the police and the FBI are looking at. This would be somebody in their 20s that wants to emulate or has studied the Zodiac killer's killings and is very sick and demented. So there is going to be like someone that tries to recreate or resurface the Zodiac killer and again take out young people. I feel like it will be young people. So this is so scary. Like, it really is terrifying that there are people that look up to this demon, this infamous Zodiac killer, and want to follow in his footsteps. So I feel like the FBI will catch them in their act. So whoever kinds of try to like I feel like somebody is looking at him as almost like a mentor in some ways, even though he's dead, and wants to like emulate him. Like they praise him as if he was a god. Like that is their inspiration, which is so scary. Like I said, very blood tingling and just cringe, complete cringe. So, yeah, I don't know. You know, like I said, psychics are not always 100% accurate. They could find some kind of DNA evidence. They could. It's very possible if they look for it, but I feel like he is dead already. And again, I feel like he would have died in Europe. He wouldn't have stayed here in California or in the US at all. So, did he? I'm also getting that he did speak. He did speak a different language. Could it be very well that this would have been German? That he would have spoken some kind of German language. That's what I'm getting. So again, that's just what I get from psychic, my psychic impressions, etc., from spirit. I hope that, you know, this reading didn't freak a lot of you out, and I hope that you can, you know, go on with the rest of your day after listening to this. Please sage yourself if you feel necessary. Cleanse your energy. I know I will. But this is the reading on the Zodiac Killer. Blessings and love and light to all of you. And thank you, my rays of light, for being here. If you would like to purchase a private reading with me, you can go to my website. It's www.raymondguzman.net/shop. All of my readings are on sale through the end of September 2019. Don't forget to pick up a copy of my Starseed Footstep Oracle cards. They were just launched on the 9th, which was Monday. And so they are selling out like hotcakes, and I'm just so happy. If you want to pick up a copy, you can, and I will autograph it for you. So have an amazing day or night wherever you are in the world. Love you.